Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Holy Nerd. I am your host, Nathaniel, and today, being so close to the election, I thought we would talk about that, specifically to the Christians, such as myself, where it is our responsibility to vote for the one who most represents our Christian values. So let's jump right into this. So, we have two candidates, Donald Trump and Kamala Harris. Honestly, us Christians, we're having a hard time deciding which one can represent our values best. But again, I am here to try and shed a little bit of light on this, at least from my perspective. Again, take away what you will, but I'm going to let people do the talking for themselves in this video. I'm going to try and just be in the background and let you decide for yourselves. But of course, we should also read some scripture as well. You see, back in those days, they didn't really have elected officials or anything like that. It was usually like a succession of kings and their bloodlines and things like that. So voting isn't really mentioned in the Bible, but the Bible does talk about responsibility and things like that, and it is our responsibility to vote to try and bring people into office that will represent the Christian values. And a good Bible verse for this is in Deuteronomy 1, verse 13. Choose some wise, understanding, and respected men from each of your tribes, and I will set them over you. This is talking about something close to like voting. They wanted people that put God first and his values. So that way, when they were being led by these people, they knew that it was also God's will. So like I said, I'm going to kind of take a back seat and just let the people speak for themselves. Here's Trump at one of his rallies.
For too long, politicians have tried, oh, have they tried, to centralize authority among the hands of a small few in our nation's capital. I see them all the time. Bureaucrats think they can run over your lives, overrule your values, meddle in your faith, and tell you how to live, what to say, and where to pray. But we know that parents, not bureaucrats, know best how to raise their children and create a thriving society. And we know that families and churches, not government officials, know best how to create a strong and loving community. And above all else, we know this. In America, we don't worship government, we worship God. Our religious liberty is enshrined in the very First Amendment in the Bill of Rights. The American founders invoked our Creator 4 times in the Declaration of Independence. Benjamin Franklin reminded his colleagues at the Constitutional Convention to begin by bowing their heads in prayer. I remind you that we're going to start saying Merry Christmas again. I also want to speak to all of the people, see, you thought I forgot, in our faith community who are here with us tonight, veterans and non-veterans alike. You're never going to be forgotten. You'll never be forgotten. My administration will always support and defend your religious liberty.
Well, one of the only countries that have freedom to religion.
We don't want to see God forced out of the public square, driven out of our schools, or pushed out of our civic life. We want to see prayers before football games if they want to give prayers. We want all children to have the opportunity to know the blessings of God. We will not allow the government to censor sermons, to restrict the free speech of our pastors and our preachers and the people that we most respect.
So that's Donald Trump's stance on the Christian faith and church and all other matters that Christians value. Now, there are people of Christian faith, as I said, that support Kamala. For example, Billy Graham's own granddaughter supports Kamala Harris, and this is what she had to say.
I read the opinion piece you wrote in Newsweek, and you use, language, the language of Christianity, which you clearly speak very fluently and matters a lot to you, to try to talk to these voters about why you are opposing former President Trump. And obviously, many of them are with Trump, if not most of them. What do you say to them now here in the final week?
The reality that my opinion here is unique is shocking and heartbreaking, right? I mean, look at what happened on Sunday night. We're talking about basic principles of our faith: kindness, gentleness, humility. These aren't, theological things that I would have learned in Bible school. This is basic tenets of our faith.
Which is true.
And this president has shown since 2016 that he doesn't represent any of those things. So the fact that I even have to say these things is discouraging, to be honest with you.
What do you hear from others in the community about what they're wrestling with this time around? Where do you think and how do you think the Harris campaign could find their best opportunity to talk to them?
I think that I'm not sure a lot of them are listening, to be honest with you. I think at this point, the people that I speak to talk about just a little bit of a tug in their spirit that, the church leaders that I've been following for decades are telling me to vote for this man, but I'm reading scripture and I'm saying this doesn't really line up. Can you speak to that? And so that's really what I'm speaking to. My vote for Kamala is really a vote against Donald Trump, a vote against another 4 years of Christians holding up a man as a representative of our faith that really doesn't show anything that represents our faith. So I think what the Harris campaign could do is honestly just keep doing what they're doing.
Can I ask you, you mentioned your vote is one that's really against Donald Trump, and obviously abortion has been front and center in this campaign. The fall of Roe versus Wade is something that a lot of evangelical voters had hoped, had prayed for. How do you square what your beliefs may be, what are your beliefs on that with your vote here?
Sure, absolutely. I think what I would ask a lot of people to do is ask what pro-life means to them, right? What is the definition of pro-life for them? For me, pro-life is, womb to grave. So to support a baby in the womb, but also support people being labeled as human garbage doesn't really seem to line up for me, right? And so can we support life all the way through life?
Now, Billy Graham's daughter might be right on the fact that these things like kindness and things of that nature are of a Christian value, and that is true. However, there are other values that are of Christian as well, such as justice. These are also things that we need to consider, and justice is defending those who can't defend themselves. The abortion thing was brought up, and she made a very good point of it goes from the womb to the grave, as in you can't just protect them up till birth. They need to also be provided for afterwards. However, looking through the internet, I'm not seeing much in the way that Kamala has these speeches about God and how the church and Christian faith is valued and things like that. What I do see is her supporting abortion a lot. What I do see is her supporting children should be allowed to transition and things like that. these are not biblical things. Now, I can't say that I haven't seen Kamala talk about Jesus at all. In fact, I have, and I think a lot of us have as well. And I think you know what video I'm talking about. I'm going to show it anyways, though. We have a side-by-side video here. One, J.D. Vance, the one who's running as vice president for Donald Trump, and then Vice President Kamala Harris. Just take a listen.
Anti-Christian rhetoric and anti-Christian approach to public policy. I don't think that we've, that's right, Jesus is king, and I don't think that
Jesus is king.
Oh, you guys are at the wrong rally.
Just in case you didn't think, there's the second angle. Two very different reactions to Jesus being proclaimed at their rallies. People are trying to say that it was because of interference and things like that, but J.D. Vance was interfered when he was talking, and yet he took the time to refer that Jesus is king while she says that you're at the wrong rally. I like to look at scripture to see what it says, and let's see, Psalms 22, I think it's verses 27 to 28. Yep, there it is, I have it highlighted. All the ends of the earth will remember and turn to the Lord, and all the families of the nations will bow down before him. For dominion belongs to the Lord, and he rules over the nations. So as I said before at the beginning of the video, two people that we are voting for. We got Donald Trump, who has praised God, praised Jesus, and shown that he is a man who supports godly values and things. And then you've got Kamala, who has mocked Christians publicly at her own venues and things like that. But Christians, it's up to you to decide who you're voting for. I just think that it seems more clear to me which one to go for. But everybody's allowed their opinion, just like I'm allowed mine, you're allowed yours. That's the beauty of being in America. But that's all I've got for today, so remember to like and subscribe to these videos and get more content from The Holy Nerd, and I will see you on the next video. Have a God bless day. A friend showed me this verse, and I thought it was quite comical because he was using it as like a political thing. Ecclesiastes 10, verse 2. The heart of the wise inclines to the right, but the heart of the fool to the left. I thought that was kind of funny in the way he used that.